Welcome to the green, the sacred ground of golf, where rounds are won and lost, where tempers are tested, and where proper etiquette matters more than anywhere else on the golf course. If you get nothing else right during your round of golf, you absolutely must get green etiquette right. Here's why the green is so important. It's the most manicured, most delicate, and most expensive part of the golf course to maintain. It's also where the most precise shots are played, where concentration is most critical, and where small breaches of etiquette can have the biggest impact on other players' games. Think of the green as the operating room of golf. Everything needs to be precise, quiet, and respectful. Mess up here, and you're not just being inconsiderate, you're potentially affecting the outcome of someone else's game in a very direct way. Let's start with how you approach the green, because your etiquette responsibilities begin before you even step onto the putting surface. First, where do you park your cart or leave your bag? The answer is simple: nowhere near the green. Most courses have a rule that carts must stay at least 30 to 50 yards away from greens. This isn't just to protect the turf around the green, it's also to avoid distracting players who are putting. When you're walking to the green, plan ahead. Look at where the next tee is located and leave your cart or bag on the side of the green that's closest to the next tee. This saves time when you're leaving the green and helps with pace of play. Here's a pro tip that most beginners don't know. When you're approaching the green, bring more than just your putter. Bring a wedge too, in case you need to chip from the fringe or in case you missed the green entirely with your approach shot. Nothing slows down play like having to walk back to the cart to get a different club. Now, let's talk about ball marks or pitch marks, those little dents that the balls make when they land on the green. This is where your responsibilities as a golfer really kick in. When your ball lands on the green, it often creates a small indentation or ball mark. You absolutely must repair this mark. Not when you have time, not when you remember, immediately. The longer a ball mark sits unrepaired, the harder it becomes to fix properly, and the longer it takes for the grass to heal. Here's how to repair a ball mark correctly, because most people do this wrong. You need a ball mark repair tool. It's a small two-pronged tool that every golfer should carry. If you don't have one, a tee will work in a pinch. Insert the tool into the turf around the edges of the ball mark, not in the center. Gently push the edges of the mark towards the center, working your way around the mark. The goal is to push the displaced turf back into place, not to lift it up. Once you've worked around the entire mark, use your putter to gently tap the area smooth. Here's something that will really impress experienced golfers. Fix ball marks that aren't yours too. If you see ball marks that other players have left unrepaired, fix them. It shows you care about the condition of the course and that you understand your responsibilities as a golfer. Now let's talk about the most important rule of green etiquette. Never, ever step on someone else's putting line. The putting line is the path that a player's ball will travel from its current position to the hole. Walking on this line can create small indentations or imperfections that can affect the roll of the ball. And in golf, where putts can be made or missed by fractions of an inch, this really matters. But here's what most beginners don't realize. It's not just the direct line from the ball to the hole that you need to avoid. You also need to be careful about through lines, the path the ball might take if it goes past the hole. A putt that misses might roll 3 or 4 feet past the cup, and that's part of the line you shouldn't step on either. So how do you move around the green without stepping on putting lines? It takes some awareness and some planning. Look at where everyone's balls are. Think about their likely paths to the hole and walk around those areas. Sometimes this means taking a longer route around the green, and that's perfectly fine. Here's a good rule of thumb. When in doubt, walk around the entire green rather than across it. It might take a few extra steps, but it shows respect for your playing partners and ensures you're not affecting anyone's putt. Now let's talk about the flagstick, because the rules and etiquette around this have changed in recent years. Under the current rules of golf, you can leave the flagstick in the hole while putting, or you can have it removed. It's your choice. This is different from the old rules where you had to remove the flagstick for putts on the green. Most players these days prefer to leave the flagstick in, especially for longer putts. It can actually help by giving you a target and potentially helping the ball stay in the hole if it hits the stick. But if you prefer to have it removed, that's fine too. Here's the etiquette part. If someone wants the flagstick removed, whoever's closest to the flagstick should handle it. Pull it straight up and out of the hole and then lay it down on the green where it won't interfere with anyone's putt and where people won't step on it. If you're the one handling the flagstick, be careful not to damage the edge of the hole when you're removing it or replacing it. And when you lay it down, place it down gently. Don't just drop it on the green. Traditionally, the first player to hole out takes responsibility for replacing the flagstick after everyone has finished putting. It's a small courtesy, but it's one of those details that shows you understand proper golf etiquette. Let's talk about putting order, because this is where traditional rules and modern golf can sometimes conflict. Traditionally, the player whose ball is farthest from the hole putts first. This makes sense because they're least likely to interfere with other players' lines. Their putt might give others information about break and speed of green. But ready golf applies on the green too, with some important caveats. If you're ready to putt and your ball isn't in anyone's line, it's generally okay to go ahead and putt, even if you're not technically the farthest away. Just make sure you're not going to interfere with anyone else's read or preparation. Here's something that's always acceptable. If you have a very short putt, a tap in, you can usually just go ahead and finish it rather than marking it and waiting for your turn. This keeps the flow going and prevents those awkward situations where people are marking 1-foot putts. Speaking of marking your ball, let's talk about when and how to do this properly. You should mark your ball anytime it might interfere with another player's shot or line. Place a small flat marker, a coin works perfectly fine, directly behind your ball. Then pick up the ball. When it's your turn to putt, replace the ball in exactly the same spot and remove the marker. If your marker is in someone else's line, you can move it. Place your putter head on the ground next to your marker and then move the marker to the other end of the putter head. When you're ready to putt, reverse the process to put your ball back to its original position. Now, let's talk about behavior on the green. This is where silence and stillness are most critical. When someone is putting, everyone else needs to be completely still and quiet. Don't walk around, don't fidget with your equipment, don't practice your putting stroke. Even small movements in a player's peripheral vision can be incredibly distracting. Position yourself where you can see the putt, but where you're not in the player's line of sight. Usually this means standing off to the side, well away from the putting line. Here's something specific about shadows. Be aware of where your shadow is falling. A shadow across someone's putting line or near the hole can be very distracting. If the sun is behind you, move so your shadow isn't affecting the player who's putting. But here's the balance. While you still need to be still and quiet during putts, you can use this time productively. Read your own putt while others are putting. Study the break, the grain of the grass, the speed of the green. Just do it quietly and without moving around. Let's talk about reading putts and taking your time, because this is where pace of play on green can really bog down. Yes, you want to read your putt carefully. You want to understand the break and speed, but you don't need to study a putt from 17 different angles for 5 minutes. Crouch behind your ball, get a feel for the break and speed, pick your line, and putt. I've seen people walk around putts like they're surveying land for housing development. They crouch behind the ball, walk to the other side of the hole, crouch again, walk back, ask their playing partner about what they think, and then they start the whole process over again. This is not reading a putt. This is paralysis by analysis. Here's a better approach. When you're walking up to the green, start reading your putt from a distance. Look at the overall slope of the green, see how other putts have broken, get a general feel for the speed. By the time you get to your ball, you should have a pretty good idea of what you're facing. And when in doubt, just aim straight at the hole and putt at it. Most amateurs aren't usually very good at reading greens, and so putting directly at the hole is usually a good strategy. Now, let's talk about what happens after you putt, because there's etiquette here too. If you make your putt, great. Collect your ball from the hole and move on. If you miss, watch where your ball goes and be ready for your next putt. Don't just stand there in disappointment or frustration. Golf is hard, putts get missed, so move on. If your putt goes well past the hole, don't immediately chase after it. Wait until it stops rolling, then go mark it or putt it if it's short enough. And be aware of other players' lines when you're walking to your ball. Here's something about gimme putts that beginners often don't understand. A gimme is a very short putt that your playing partners concede, meaning they'll let you count it as made without actually putting it. This is common in casual golf, but there are unwritten rules about it. Generally, gimmies are for putts that are clearly unmissable, usually 2 feet or less, with no significant break. If someone gives you a gimme, say thank you and pick up your ball. Don't insist on putting it anyway unless you're keeping an official handicap and need to hole out. But here's something important. You can't give yourself a gimme. Only your playing partners can concede putts to you, and be reasonable about what you expect to be given. That 4-foot putt with a big break, you probably need to putt that one out. Let's talk about what happens when everyone has finished putting, because there's a proper way to leave the green too. The first person to hole out often takes responsibility for replacing the flagstick and making sure everyone has their equipment. Before leaving the green, do a quick scan to make sure no one has left a club behind. It's surprisingly common for people to leave putters or wedges on the green, and having to come back for them really slows down play. Also, this is where you want to head towards the next hole, not stand around on the green discussing the hole you just played. Mark your scores at the next tee, not on the green you just finished. But here's the bottom line on green etiquette. The green is where precision and respect matter most. Fix ball marks, respect putting lines, be still and quiet during putts, and maintain good pace of play. Master green etiquette, and you'll demonstrate that you understand the most important aspects of golf courtesy. Get this right, and you'll be welcome on any green, at any course, regardless of how many putts it takes you to hole out.